it was kind of your idea just to chat about your experience with, what I'm passionate about helping people with in terms of their choices on a daily basis and how it helps them increase their health and performance. So, yeah, just, I guess just kind of what was your perspective before you heard me speak in Utah, and then how has it changed since, and then what's come from it?
So I've been, obviously, a big part of my life revolved around, health and fitness, right? I had to be healthy, had to be very physically fit, mentally fit as well, to sustain a high level of performance in pro football and even before that in high school and in college. So I was always very health conscious to whatever my level of awareness was at any given time. One of my best friends is a total health nut. He owns a handful of GNC stores in Idaho. And so he's, been coaching people on all different types of diets. He gets questions about every diet fad that's come across the table in the last 20 or 30 years. He's read up on it and helps people through that kind of stuff. And so, of course, I've been exposed to keto for a long time. I mean, as long as it became kind of a buzzword or kind of a, in some circles, kind of a fad type thing. Didn't really know a ton about it. Kind of read the Cliff Notes, all the stuff that everybody talks about, kind of the negative connotations, super strict, no carbs, no sugar, not sustainable, really hard. You got to be hardcore to do something like that. And I was always just like, I'll just try to eat clean and work out and do my thing. And I just didn't have any desire, any interest in even reading anything below the surface level on keto. Knew a couple people that had done it. My friend I was talking about, Bill, he'd done it on and off here to get in shape for a calendar shoot or something like that. So I didn't really have an interest in it. It wasn't until, I met you in Utah and I heard your presentation, which was really intriguing for me because I'm, being a former football player, 5-6 concussions in my career. And you were talking about the brain health and different things like this, like that really resonated with me. But it still wasn't enough. That wasn't enough for me to say, hey, I want to try this. I want to really do it. It was over the course of the next couple of weeks when we just started talking about, just kind of the benefits of keto overall. And my goal really with any, diet or health and fitness was probably 80% wanting to look better and then 20% wanting to actually feel better, right? I just got tired of the guy that I was looking at in the mirror because in my mind, I'm thinking I'm a world-class athlete, like I at one point in my life, I was at the top level of pro sport. And that's the vision I hold of myself in my mind. And when I look in the mirror, I'm like, this, they've got this excess body fat. Like I don't look like a world-class athlete anymore. And that was my pain, so to speak. That really, really bothered me. And I think it was when we were in San Diego and we were having a conversation. I was just like, dude, I just want to look better. I just want to lose 15 or 20 pounds of just straight body fat and just be ripped again. And you were like, really casually, classic Josh Perry, you were like, oh, dude, I can do that for you easy. Like, if that's all you want, like, that's easy. And I was like, really? You were like, yeah, we can do that with food. Like, you don't even have to work out. I could do that for you. And I was like, I was halfway like, well, that sounds awesome. And halfway like, come on, But I stayed engaged. I kept asking questions. And then I observed you. I observed the way you live your life, what you were eating on a daily basis, how you were actually living the lifestyle. You were, practicing what you preach or whatever. We'd go out to eat and you'd eat something. I'd be like, that's keto? Like, you can eat that? And you're like, yeah, dude. And I'm like, oh, that's not bad. I could probably do that. And then there was the next thing. It was like, you can eat that? You were like, yeah, man, eat these all day. So then I started thinking like, well, maybe this isn't so hard. And then we got off the phone one day and I was just like, you know what? I'm all in, like, let's do it. And, had my struggles here and there, but, every time I would call or text, you'd shoot right back an answer and say, hey, try this instead or do this. And here we are 2 months, almost 2 months to the day later, and I'm down 20 pounds. I'm back to my NFL playing weight. And I don't know if I say this kind of like bragging or if I'm ashamed of this. Like, I haven't, in 2 months, I've worked out maybe 3 times. My gym has been closed. I don't have a home gym here anymore. I turned it into my office. I've done a couple things, but dude, if I've worked out more than 3 times, it's maybe 4 or 5. But I mean, so my point is, I lost 20 pounds of literally almost all just crap, just body fat. I'm still maintaining my muscularity, just through the diet, just through food, making a few small changes. It blew my mind, honestly. Like, it's blown my mind. Everything you said was true. I trusted you, and it was right. And I feel awesome. I love waking up in the morning and going to the mirror and weighing myself, and then pausing for 10 or 15 seconds and looking at myself in the mirror in the morning. Love what I see. And, we've talked about this before, but if I'm being honest, like, it wasn't that difficult. It wasn't what I thought. It wasn't hard. There was a little bit of sacrifice, few things I had to change, but hard, difficult, something that I didn't enjoy, like, not at all. It was easy. It was easy. And you helped me through that process. And it's been awesome, man. It's been a great 2 months.
That's amazing. Man, that's what gets me so hyped on why I do what I do. And 2 things I want to note was, essentially you shifted your perspective to drop the story of why it may be difficult, and you temporarily use some sacrifices, which really weren't. It just, you didn't have the perspective of what was serving you and how you wanted to show up in your life, or not how you wanted to perform, how you wanted to feel, how you wanted to look.
Right.
So the sacrifice wasn't really one of those. You don't know what you don't know. And so then once you start to learn and then implement, you start to see these changes. And the second piece is, this is something I'm learning more and more, and I'm trying to go all in on this more and more. Is why I'm calling my program the MITO program, Massive Intention to Optimize. It took wake up call, like being told I was going to die at 21, to have this purpose, this intention to optimize my life. So it's not about keto. It's not about brain health. It's not about my story of brain tumors or BMX. It's about the difference in what you just said of how you saw yourself differently in the mirror, and emotionally what clicked. You're emotionally were different. You're spiritually different. You're energetically different. You're physically different. And my argument with that is how do you think that's going to affect how you perform in any area of your life? And so it's not about keto. It's not about brain health. It's about optimizing your life in general. So that way you can show up as your best self, to be the parent you want to be, to be the businessman you want to be, or businesswoman, to be, whatever it is. It's about optimizing based on an intention. And if that intention is clear, like you had a clear intention, you got the result because you did the homework. So the test was easy. The story of it being difficult was out. And so that's like my favorite piece. And our conversations and your experience with that has been showing me what Brian has been trying to tell me for the last year of the analogy. He's like, dude, you help people get out of bed. It's not about keto. It's not about this. And I never could make that connection until actually after my Kansas presentation. Your takeaway was so different than what my objective takeaway for the audience was. And it started to click more and more the last few weeks. And so I just really appreciate you having that trust in my passion to serve other people with what I've seen transform my and other people's lives inside and out. And now you're experiencing that and being able to lead by example, which is the ultimate goal, the ripple effect. So I love that, because it's more than just a surface area. It goes deeper than that.
It honestly, and what you just said, I think is so important. Like, it is your passion and your obsessiveness and your love for what you do that convinced me, right? It was watching you do everything that you coach other people to do that convinced me. There's a lot of, in every industry, every walk of life, there's a lot of frauds out there, right? There's a lot of people that, you know, they preach one thing, but if you get to know them in their personal life, they don't adhere to any of the things that they're coaching other people, you know, to try to perfect, or, and that was part of the journey for me as well. Like, you know, my program, you know, well, the Be a Pro, like we talk about discipline, right? One of the things we talk about is self-discipline. So you talked about, you know, performance, right? How this, you know, ultimately the program, the MITO program, is aimed at optimizing performance in, you know, any area of your life, right? It's not just about keto. It's about, you know, being a better husband, a better father, better on your job, like better in these areas. For me, that really resonated with me because food discipline, as it pertains to what I'm putting in my mouth, has been a problem for me for, like, since I retired from football, for the last 10 years, right? When I no longer had that why, that was, okay, well, why am I not drinking soda? Why am I, you know, eating clean all throughout the week? Why am I not eating fast food? It was because, oh, I'm an NFL football player. Like I got to be top notch. Like that won't help my performance. That could slow me down. That could, you know, cost me whatever. I had a really big why. When I retired from football, I didn't have that anymore. Right? I was just like, why not? You know what? McDonald's sounds good. Let's do it. Like, I don't have a game coming up. Like, I don't have anything to be my best for. But what really started to resonate with me was I realized so many areas of my life where I was really undisciplined. So many areas of my life where I was falling short, in areas where I was challenging other people to be disciplined and be committed and try to be their best. So you start looking in the mirror and you're like, how am I going to be, you know, authentic when I'm not even congruent in these areas? I'm on these coaching calls talking about self-discipline, and I'm eating Doritos and cheese dip at 10 at night. And so for me, you know, when you talk about like optimizing performance, there's a number of ways in which I feel like this journey has helped me optimize and be better at what I do, right? But one of them is that it created so much more authenticity and congruence within myself. Like I'm doing the things that I'm asking other people to do. You know, I can't sit here and coach people on the importance of getting out of bed and going through a morning routine and being conscious of what you're eating and being totally dialed in if I'm not living my life that way. And so part of the challenge for me was, you know what? I've lacked discipline in my life in a lot of areas. One of the hardest things to get control over is what we put in our mouth. And so I'm going to attack that area, the area where I've struggled with the most. And I'm going to refocus myself and reestablish within myself that I'm capable of holding myself to a really high standard, show myself that I do still have that level of self-discipline if I want to. And I just like rediscovered and reactivated and reignited that level of self-discipline. And once I started doing that as it pertained to food, so many other dominoes fell. And so for me, it's optimized my performance because I feel like I've taken a level of control back in my life just by focusing on one area, which was the food that I was putting in my mouth. And when I started to see the results, I was like, done. Like, I'm fully convinced. Little bit of self-discipline in this area, look at what it did for my body. Little bit more self-discipline over here, look at what it's going to do for whatever area. And that, to me, that's, when you talk about the importance of your program, yes, we're not talking about, keto lifestyle and all that's great. And there's people that's what'll be the big takeaway for them. But we're talking about just being better and how this can help you be better in every area of your life. And I'm telling you, when you start to get control of one area, it makes it easier and easier to move on to the next area to gain control in that. You've built a confidence within yourself that says, dude, I just exercised a level of self-discipline with food that I haven't been able to in any other area of my life that are much easier to be disciplined in. So if I mastered one of the hardest ones, how easy is it for me to get up at 5:30 or 6 a.m.? Like, that's easy. How much easier is it for me to just go ahead and get to the gym then? That's easy. All these dominoes started falling for me once I got back to a level of discipline around food that I used to have. Just totally like reignited me.
Yeah, and I love that. And so many things come to mind that we've talked about and that you've taught me about. And so something I love sharing is what we choose to put in our mouths is like the single most important choice we have every single day, besides what we choose to put in our minds. I think that's really, really profound to think about, because it is a choice.
Totally.
And our thoughts more so, because you can go days without eating, you'll be fine. But every day you're having thoughts. And then around the word discipline, whenever I hear the word discipline, I hear the phrase discipline equals freedom. And so when you're disciplined in a section of your life, and we're talking about food or your mindset, which contribute to your health and how you show up in life, you have this sense of freedom, of liberation from cravings, let's say, or less disease risk factor, or you're performing better, you're sleeping better, you're recovering better, you're there for your kids or your business or your spouse better. It just releases this freedom in all these areas of your life. And then something you've talked about with me quite a bit is like momentum. Once you see that momentum coming, or you see it building, you have this discipline that's creating more momentum, more freedom. It goes to the thing you told me before about like how I lead by example. I walk my talk. It's a non-negotiable for me 9 times out of 10 of what I'm going to do, and how I'm going to live my life. And to some people that's intimidating, but something I've recognized in myself when I have that intimidation or whatever, it's a mirroring effect. It's showing
Yes.
us deep down inside what we know we should be working on, and we're challenged by it. But for me, it's a non-negotiable, because my massive intention to optimize came from being told at 21 years old, living my dream as a professional athlete, that I was going to die. And that really sparked my perspective. And so my purpose and what I do is to share through the lens of my life, how not prioritizing my health almost cost me my life. And then now how I have prioritized it, it's led me to conversations with people like yourself. It's brought me around the world. It's allowed me to do things I didn't think was possible, including breaking through financial blocks that I've had passed down from my family, and what was possible. And then they supported me to live my dream, which was amazing. That was a huge breakthrough. But then all these things I've been seeing in and out of my personal and business life came from that. I call it my MITO. And that's something I'm trying to share more about, is like, we all have a MITO. It's going to be different to one another, just like being a pro is going to show up differently to one another.
Yes.
But it's about the intention. It's about, what are you trying to accomplish? Keto is just a tool. My clients don't ever have to be keto. I prefer that they experience the profound and superior fuel source that is ketones. But that doesn't mean it's a make it or break it. It's just eating real food, or just being conscious of things and optimizing that discipline. It creates so much more freedom. So that's something I love that we've talked about, is those different aspects. And, you helped me with that momentum analogy of like, basketball, the dude's just, 0 for 10 on threes, go get a layup. And that's something I've done with new tricks. If I keep freaking myself out mindset wise, it's like, when I first learned this one trick, I'm not going to go into it because it's too complicated to explain. I always had to do it on a specific setup to where I could do a trick before it and then lead right into it, because I had the momentum and that focus. And that just applies to other aspects of life. So I really appreciate you sharing that. But more importantly, I appreciate you sharing your authenticity of where you were before we met and how it evolved, and the experience that you're going through now, and how you're seeing these doors open up in other areas of your life that maybe felt locked before. And now that discipline's unlocked them. And that's everything I'm about. It's not about keto. It's not about BMX. So it's about the potential that we have within us that oftentimes is overlooked and conditioned by society, one way or another, that you're stuck where you are. It's your fate. And what's cool about what we do is we unlock that in people, and we hire friends of ours to help us do that too. And it's very important. And it's a huge part of my belief of what's got me to where I am today, is that team support.
Well, you said you were using the word non-negotiable, and I love that, because one of the things that I teach, in my seminar and with my private coaching clients, when we talk about self-discipline, I think self-discipline is like the key to damn near everything in life. Honestly, if you can get some form of mastery in self-discipline, quality of life goes exponentially higher, right? I mean, there's so many ways we could do an entire call on just self-discipline. But the way I always describe it is, people say that word all the time, or people talk about discipline, but you said non-negotiable. I always just say that self-discipline means I don't negotiate with myself, right? And I really had to get back to that, because there was a period of time when I was in high school, college, and then pro football, where there were no temptations, because the things that potentially would tempt me were non-negotiables. So I wasn't even tempted by it, right? Like, I had my first drink of alcohol of any kind on my 31st birthday, because I decided when I was like 15 years old, I was a sophomore in high school, the first time I went to a high school party, and somebody handed me a beer. I was like, I don't think I want to do that. I just, and I had my reasons at the time. I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm fully focused on football and making, this is my dream. I'm fully focused on that. And so I just said no to it. And then that became my thing all through my whole career. Like, I don't drink, I don't smoke or do any drugs of any kind. I eat clean, never miss a workout, never skip a set or a rep in a workout. And it wasn't hard. I wasn't tempted to do any of those things, because they were non-negotiables. Like, when I decided that something was going to be a certain way, I didn't negotiate with myself. And I think that's where I got off track in the years since I retired, was I allowed myself to start negotiating, right? It was like, I don't have to get up at 6 a.m. anymore. I'm not going to get fined if I'm late to the gym, like I would if I was late to a workout, with the Falcons. I'm not going to get fined. So I can hit snooze and sleep in. And, you start negotiating with yourself, and all of a sudden now self-discipline, you're 50-50 on it. It's like, sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. And that's really not self-discipline. That's not optimizing. That's not being your best and showing up your best in every situation, at every occasion. And so, again, like you said, that, your clients, whether they're full keto, whether they're like 100% all the way in, just totally dialed, or not, what you've done for me and what your program and your whole philosophy has done for me has been to bring back a level of self-discipline that has allowed me to take back control of so many areas of my life where I was 50-50. Like, sometimes I would, sometimes I wouldn't, sometimes I was all in, sometimes I wasn't. Catch me on a good day, I'll call you back. Not, it might be a couple days. Like, I've found that discipline again that has really helped me be a pro, right, in all areas of my life, because of the discipline that I found through working with you and your program. And that's, to me, like, that's my big takeaway. We've talked about a ton of stuff, and your knowledge and your perspective on the keto lifestyle and all the amazing health benefits and those type of things, great. I love it. And I feel like I'm getting those benefits just as icing on the cake. But for me, the big thing for me was rediscovering self-discipline, reinforcing to myself, like, Jim, you can commit to something again the way that you used to. And when you commit, you will see the results that you used to see. And I found that through controlling what I was eating, making some changes, making a few small sacrifices, and then seeing the result and the momentum, just every day, losing a little bit of weight here and then starting to see my body change. Like you said, I don't know if I'll continue to, be as kind of dialed as I am right now, but I'll tell you this, like, there's been times where I've thought about, and maybe I should just go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac, or, eat something I used to eat. And I'm like, I don't know if I'll like the way I look in the morning when I get up. So I don't want to do that, So I've built so many new habits that, like I said, are translating in so many areas of my life. And that, to me, personally. Everybody's going to have a different takeaway, but your course, all of your material, and working with you one-on-one, that's what it's done for me.
That's amazing. I love that. And that's so two things that come to mind on that note is like the whole discipline equals freedom aspect is in this context is once you get to where you feel good about yourself, you look good, you're optimized, and like you've met your goal. That freedom comes to where you can go have that Big Mac or that beer or that pizza. This isn't a forever thing. It's a lifestyle to create that freedom, which we call in the the nutritional health world metabolic flexibility, meaning your body can handle different energy substrates, which alcohol is energy. People don't understand that it is energy, but your body won't store it as fat and create damaging chemicals like inflammation in the process on such a higher degree because you've done the work to create that flexibility and that freedom. But then also something I've taken away from your seminar, your Be a Pro program, was the obsession aspect of the pro analogy or acronym, and just what you helped me remember with BMX and why we click so much with the professional athlete background was I was all in. I was obsessed. I didn't have these outside influences distracting me. I was lasered in on the goal, and I was obsessed with everything I did. My MITO, which is why I think our programs combine so well with the meaning of them, was my massive intention to optimize everything I did was for that goal of being a professional athlete. Same with you. And then as I left it on this higher purpose, which Isaac helped me see, my story was one of self to purpose. I lost that obsession part. I was struggling to find my MITO. I was trying to find my purpose. And then I thought I had it, which was like, oh, I got to help people with keto. Like that's it. Because it did so much for me. But really at the end of the day, all of our MITOs are going to be different, but it becomes, that obsession to optimize that area of your life. So that way you can be the best you can be, whatever that means to you. Like I said, it could be being a parent, it could be a business owner, it could be an athlete, whatever it is. And I think that's something that your Be a Pro seminar, they get to see live a couple times, different versions. And then what your program stands for, it really helped me see that. And then that's kind of why I've been shifting my focus away from keto 100%. I was obsessed with it because that's what I was seeing results and I was passionate about it. But now it's just like there's so many different things. It just comes down to finding that discipline to create this freedom in your life that you may or may not know is there. And I've been seeing that show up in my life differently as the way you've been sharing with yourself as well. And it just unlocks. Like it's like it unlocks like these secret levels in the life of the game of life, and it's really amazing.
It does, and that you talk about kind of that obsession component. So many people contextualize that word kind of in a negative connotation, right? Like obsession just means that you're all in, right? That's all that it means. Like that whatever you've decided you're going to focus on, you're going to spend time on, or that you're going to make kind of your main thing, that you're all in on it. That's all that is. I mean, and I remember
Perception of words is
absolutely
is huge, and I think that's the difference.
It's like, yes, you and I lived, years of our lives totally obsessed with, for you it was BMX, for me it was football. And I remember we had this conversation. I looked at, the last 10 years of my life after I retired from football. And there was a period of time where I spent wondering, why have I not had the level of success in any of the things I've tried in life after football that I had, while I was playing football, ultimately being able to get to the NFL, win a Super Bowl, play 6 years in the NFL. Like, why have I not been able to have that kind of success? And the answer was really, really clear, because I haven't been doing the same things I was doing when I was playing football. The level of obsession was not there. I was whatever it was that I was doing at a given time, whether it was, I started a couple businesses in the meantime, done some coaching, done some speaking, years ago. Whatever it was I was doing at a given time, I was not applying the same level of obsession, of preparation, of discipline, of commitment to it that I was applying to my football career. And I think that, regardless of what we do in life, there has to be that level of, okay, I'm all in, at least for a period of time. And that's why, when I started the journey with your program, I didn't know what it was going to look like. I didn't know what the benefits or the results would be 3 months away. Didn't know what to expect, but I decided that if I wanted to get the best result, whatever those were going to be, I had to go all in, and I had to approach it with a level of obsessiveness that I knew how to do because I'd done it in other areas of my life in the past. And I mean, that to me, that's a huge component of, call it success, or achieving whatever goals or whatever results you want in anything. It's that level of obsession of going all in and just being unwilling to consider another outcome other than the one that you've decided that you want. And again, kind of back to what I've been saying is that working with you and going through this program, helped me rediscover kind of that passion, that obsession, that attention to detail, and certainly that discipline and that commitment.
I love it. I love it. And I appreciate you sharing that. And I appreciate your time today and getting to know each other the last few months. Like I said, it's really inspired me and helped bring a lot of clarity and confidence to my life and the next chapter that I'm currently writing. And I can't thank you enough. And really grateful that I went to that event that Isaac held and we met.
Yeah, bro. Likewise, man. It's been, meeting you and developing a friendship with you has been a total game changer for me. I've always said how much I love, doing things with people. This idea they talk about a lot in the one thing, that no one succeeds alone, right? Like there's no self-made anybody's. At some point, somebody somewhere stood up for you, went to bat for you, gave you an opportunity, opened a door for you, invested in you, made sacrifices for you, helped you in some way. And I've met a lot of great people over the course of my life. Wouldn't be anywhere close to having achieved any level of success that I had if not for hundreds of different people in my life. And I feel like for sure, all the things that have happened in the last couple months and, where I've been able to go and take my program and the changes I've made in my life a lot of them are a direct result of, meeting you and our friendship. And so, the feeling is mutual, man. Like I appreciate you more than you know. And I'm excited for anybody that decides to work with you or jumps into your programs. Like I can tell you, if you're watching this wherever Josh posts it on Facebook or Instagram or whatever, I promise you that if you trust him and you go all in, you will get results. You will get the results that you're looking for, regardless of what they are. I can promise you that you will make some changes, and there's a big reward on the other end of it. And I'm kind of living proof of that for myself. So.
Heck yeah. Thank you. So real quick, just to kind of wrap this up, where can people find more information about you?
I'm easy to find. So, all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Instagram is just at Jimmy Farris. Twitter at Jimmy Farris. Facebook is the same, at Jimmy Farris. And we're doing, I've got an online program that we are kind of in the process. Yeah, the Be a Pro online program. It's basically a 21-day course that's really designed just to help people focus on, one or two areas of life that they want to be better. They want to, show up better for people they love. It's really about, my whole program is really about, building and becoming the best version of yourself. What does that take and what does that look like? And so the online program is really, about, like you talked about, the program breaking down the acronym PRO, prepared, reliable, and obsessed. I really think those three pillars are really key in, creating and becoming the best version of yourself. And so got an online program. That program is at kaizencoaching.com/be-a-pro. It's a little bit more geared for people that have been through my online seminar. We're in the process of creating kind of a standalone program that I'm really excited about. But yeah, I mean, anybody can find me on my social media, DM me. I'm posting videos every couple days, just trying to add value and add content, stuff that might be relevant for people. So reach out, man. I love the conversations. I love to help people. That's what we're here for. And they'll look forward to hearing from you guys.
Awesome. Well, I love it. And again, I appreciate you, bro. And thanks for your time today.
Appreciate you, Josh. Thanks, man.